Ananda ki jai. Ananditi ki jai. Bhagavati ki jai. Jai. Priyadarshana ki jai. Linda ki jai.
Jai.
Dandavat, Maharaj.
Dandavat.
Dandavat, devotees.
Dandavat. Srila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki. Srila Kicha Prabhu ki.
Jai.
Linda Didi ki.
Jai.
Hi.
How are you, Maharaj?
Good, Prabhu. By your grace.
Hey.
You're looking happy.
Or we are very happy because see to you and devotees today.
Gives us life. This weekend, on Sunday and Monday, I think, Srila Sridhar's appearance. Celebrating. I think we'll have a meeting on Monday. Zoom meeting. You have to check your times. You want to attend?
Okay, if it's in the evening.
What's that?
Okay,
If it's in the evening. What time?
It will be
10:30, I think, in the morning.
3 hours ahead of 3 hours earlier than right now.
I won't be able to make it. It'll be 2 o'clock here.
You're living where? In UK?
Yes.
Okay. UK, okay.
I've got a lot of rain at the moment. Some people are getting washed away, I think.
Vandanam.
You had the storms, didn't you? Did you have the storms?
Do we have a storm?
Did you have storms recently?
What did you say?
Did we recently have stormy weather?
Oh, it's been raining a lot, yes. I think from the effects of a hurricane or something.
That's right. I think you sent it to us.
El Nino. You know the El Nino?
Yes.
El Nino, the Atlantic Ocean is very warm from this very hot summer. And that produces a lot of different changes in the atmosphere and the weather. So now they're predicting that the US will have a very cold, very snowy winter. I don't know what will happen there in the UK or in Europe. Anyhow, delicately balanced ecosystem. All right, Vandana. Our prayers.
Yes.
Prayers to the spiritual masters and the devotees who have preceded us.
Yes, Maharaj.
Vandeham
Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Rupa
Sahagana
Pariyana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Srila Krishna Sripad Onanjana Vidadacha Jana Jana Svaya Asuru Vidamjana Hema Sri Gurave
Namaha. Puja
Namaha Sri Guru Vargavandita Mahavandata Sala
Sada
Sarvapaya Parampara Pracharita Praya Prabhutate
Bhakti
Nityam Saraswam Shandaram Bande Sir Gurudevananda Siracharya
Korva
Purva Vishta Supurakam Guru Vaidya Shisha Shambhushita Chintya Chintya Samastaveda Nipuna Virupa Pantanugam Govinda Vidam Yuvipalam Bharantanum Bhaktyamita Shundaram Bhante Vishwa Guru Shalivya Bhagava Premo Diviya Pradam Devadiya Tanu Shushandavanam Balarka Sevashitam Sadrananda Puran Saripa Baranam Vaidya Vidyabudim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Shubhakti Lasitam Saraswatatam Baram Bhamtetam Shubharam Malika Saranam Yashishwaram Sriharam Siddhanta Saraswati Viditya Gauriya Guram Bhaje Bato Vanuriva Mata Gagane Yogaura Sankitane Maya Bhavati Pingilodara Tatamurdiya Jaganiman Krishna Prema Sudabhigana Sukam Pradam Prabhutam Bhaje Namo Gaura Kishoraya Bhakta-Murtaye Gaurangri Pramavringaya Radhavani Sevine Bhante Bhakti Vinodam Gaura Sakya Swarupakam Bhakti Shastranya Saranjanam Rasa Rasa Sudami Gaura Braja Chitya Shekshai Vaishnai Vairvandya Brigraham Jagana Prabhu Vande Premadim Virda Vaishnava Pancha Kalpataru Yasha Kripa Sindhuja Evasha Bhaktanam Bhavaneyo Vaisnaveyo Namo Namaha Panchatatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktya Sastikam Namo Mahavandayaya Krishna Prema Pralayate Krishna Chaitanya Name Gaura Dvise Namaha Yayanta Suratam Pangor Mamamanda Mater Gati Matsakmaspa Padambujao Radhamandana Mohanao Iya Vrindaya Jagat Padumada Srimadangara Siddhas Nastau Sirgandarba Siragovindadavau Prestalipite Manamu Ismarami Liman Rasa Rasambi Bansi Batata Stita Kasambenu Swani Gopi Gopina Yiriyetuna Vrindajai Tulasi Devjai Priyajai Kesavayacha Visnavati Pradevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha Adhanatva Mantra Guru Bhagavata Tala Vyasa Jagat Guru Natvan Tato Yayam Viraye Jaya Saparikara Sisi Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Padamanama Yatsu Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Srila Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaja ki Jai.
Jai.
Govardhana ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki Jai.
Jai.
Words of the worldwide devotees ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.
Humble devotees ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Manandi Hari.
Hari. Oh.
Sripad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Reading from Prapanna-jivanamrtam, chapter 4, text 22. Page 68. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj Kachaya Satara Sata Sri Srimad Bhakti Rakshak Dev-Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
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 Sri Prapanna-jivanamrtam ki Jai.
Jai.
So text 22. I think we're reading on the chapter of rejection of unfavorable things. Huh? Things that are unfavorable to devotion. Muktir Bhakti Dasya Vansha Bhakti Satat Sangam Malinya Saka Ka Tvam Muktir Upagastami Bhavati Kasmara Kasmariha Shri Krishna Smarena Deva Bhavato Dasi Padam Prapita Duretishta Manag Anagasi Katam Guryar Anirama Mahi Vanama Nijanama Chandana Raso Le Pasya Rapo Bhavet. Liberation, prays to become devotion's maidservant, and devotion apprehends the impurity of liberation's association. Who are you? It is I, liberation, Bhakti. Why have you suddenly come here? Oh Lord, because you are always absorbed in thought of Sri Krishna, I have been promoted to the position of your maidservant. Just keep a little distance from me. Oh, why are you so harsh upon an innocent person like me? By the mere mention of your name, the sandalwood paste or gopi chandra and tilak that adorns my body, which represents my reputation as a devotee of the Lord, will vanish altogether. So this is a conversation between mukti and a bhakti. Mukti and bhakti. Bhakti the devotee and mukti liberation. The mukti is saying because the devotee is always absorbed in thought of Krishna, then devotee always sees everyone as a devotee, even liberation. He sees that liberation is Krishna's devotee also. She is serving Krishna as much as devotee is trying to serve Krishna. So Mukti is saying, I'm a servant, a maid servant of Krishna. By your devotion to Krishna, you are able to see that everyone is a devotee. Everyone is serving Krishna, even me. But the devotee says, yes, but just keep a little distance from me, because devotee is not interested in mukti. He doesn't want the service of mukti. He doesn't want to be influenced by desire for liberation. Has no desire for that type of element in his life or her life. Liberation means connection with the material atmosphere. One wants to become free from the material atmosphere means that there's still a connection with the material atmosphere. What you reject, what you're against, is still there in your consciousness, in your heart. So devotees do not take up this hatred toward liberation. Do not take up this hatred toward the material energy. That's not part of their mentality. Yukta Vairagya. Their concern is completely with Krishna, with service of Krishna, with the bliss, the joy of serving Krishna, and automatically the taste of material enjoyment has already vanished. So they don't feel necessity to reject the material nature anymore, because their minds, their hearts have become so absorbed in relishing the nectar of the devotional world. That is the sign of the arisal of pure devotion within the heart. When one no longer feels any thought of attachment or detachment from the material world, but is fully absorbed in the nectar of the service of the Lord, then he is freed from any influence by desires for mukti or liberation. You know, Mahaprabhu told Nadanam, Nadranam, Nasundaram, Kavitam Bha Jagadisha Kavaya, Mama Janmani Jamanishvare, Bhavatir Bhakti Avaita Ph.D. That uninterruptible bhakti, that service is the only thing that a devotee has aspiration for. He doesn't care. Janmani Jamanishvara, he means I could take birth in this material world millions and millions of times. That is not my concern, to get free from that. My only focus, my only concentration, my only desire is that I may always serve you. Don't let me forget that one thing. Then I'll be satisfied anywhere you like to put me. If you have some purpose for me to be in the material world, fine. That is your grace, your mercy. But please do not let me forget you. Forget service to your lotus feet. Forget service to your devotee. That is Shuddha Bhakti. Unmixed. Unmixed with a desire for liberation or exploitation. High conception. In the Vedic culture, many are engaged in various yogas and mantra meditation and yoga and so forth and so on. So many processes they're engaged in. And the purpose for all the engaging in all those processes is to get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. But that is not devotion. That is doing something to benefit yourself. They want to benefit themselves. Liberation benefits themselves. That is not service to Krishna. That is to relieve their own difficulties, their own pain, their own suffering. This is their main interest. So it is not that we perform Vedic rituals, Vedic sacrifices, go to the temple and so forth and so on, give donations. We don't do that so that we get some good credit, so that we can have an enjoyable life in the material world. Those who have that mentality, they have no idea what real devotion means. Real devotion means to be free from any kind of thought like that, and simply to feel attraction, love for serving the Lord, serving the devotees. And that is enough to remove all other desire from the heart. And that is enough means that it's fully satisfying to the self, because that is the constitutional nature of the soul. The soul is Jivara Swarupoy, Krishnara Nityadas. That is the Swarup. That is the real form, that is the real essence of the soul, is to be Krishnara Nityadas, an eternal servant of Krishna. Once one recognizes that, once one realizes that, by the grace of the great teachers who come, and Avatar Mahaprabhu, who came to teach us that, then we could come to that platform of complete indifference to other things except for the service of Krishna. Haribol. Bahir Mukha Brahma Janmano Pi Pratikulata Tavadasya Sukhaika Sanghinam Avareshu Asmapi Lata Janmame Itarav Astrateshu Bhaspud Api Janma Chaturmukhatmana Yamuna-Acharya. The adversity of being born as even Lord Brahma, but without Krishna consciousness. Devotees reject even being born as Lord Brahma. That is not even the highest thing for a devotee. If he is not a devotee of Krishna, then what is the use of such a high position? Veda Viti Anusare Karma Ghari Samsare Jiva Puna Puna Janma Paya Purva Krita Karma Pale Jamada Aichabale Janmayari Lapi Pura Unaraya Tabe Eka Kata Mama Nurahe Purushottama Tava Dikshasa Tava Dasa Sangi Jana Gare Lata Janma Yari Hayaya Tava Tahate Odaya Maya Vahibo E Santusta Antare Tava Dasa Sangalohina Ye Vihasta Arvachina Tada Grihe Chatra Mukha Bhuti Achai Kakara Hari Hara Dvaya Yari Hari Hare Tava Kinkara Minati. According to Vedic conjunction, who acts out of his worldly function, that soul takes birth again and again. According to my previous action for your divine predilection, if another birth for me does be made, then just one thing I have to say. Oh, hear me, Lord, if you may, if within the home of your devotee I may be born in an insect body, that cannot be but your mercy. In my heart, I'll be ever happy. Devoid of your devotee's company, In an ignorant non-devotee family, to be born as even Brahma, the creator. For that, O Lord, I'll never ask you. With folded hands down before you, this is the earnest prayer of your servitor.
To Bhakti Vinod above.
Huh?
It said this was from Bhakti Vinod Thakur above.
Okay. Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Here he's saying, even if one acts according to the Vedic injunctions, according to his guna and karma, according to his caste, according to his guna and karma, according to his worldly function, it says here. So if one is born in a Sudra family, let's say, and he is working all the time as a plumber or as a laborer, even if he does those functions properly, he has to take birth again and again. Even if one is born a king and he executes his kingly duties according to the rules and regulations of the king, of the royalty, he still will have to take birth again. Dharma, this is called Dharma. But Krishna says in the Gita, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja. You have to give up these material activities, Dharma. Sarva Dharmam Parityaja. Tajya means renounce. You have to renounce these worldly designations. Sarva Dharmam Parityaja. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. And you must turn your attention to me. Your endeavors should not be to maintain your position in this world. Your endeavors should be to satisfy me. Bhaktaram yogyatapasvam. Krishna says in the Gita, I am the enjoyer of your endeavors. All your endeavors are meant to please me. This way you will come to understand what is your true constitutional nature. Otherwise, you remain trapped in this world of samsara, birth, death, old age, and disease. That is not your constitutional to be there. You are meant to be a spiritual being in a spiritual world, in a spiritual relationship, doing spiritual activities. So if one engages in karma, doing one's worldly activities, says according to my previous actions, one gets a birth in this life. That is an effect of the previous causes, previous karmas, or if by your divine predilection, or by the will of the Lord to fulfill some purpose of his own, then he may have to get another birth. That is not the main thing. He says, just one thing I want to say. If you may, I would like to be born within the home of a devotee, even as an insect. At least I could eat the crumbs from the food of the devotees, prasad. At least I'll have some type of association, some type of connection with you. Then I'd be happy. Devoid of a devotee's association, in an ignorant, non-devotee family, even to be born as Brahma, that is not very, I do not look for that. I don't even look for that. I simply beg to let me be your humble servant. Text 24. Gora Bhakti Rasayasya Anyatra Chidrase Pi Pratikulyana Bhuti Asame Varam Asta Gora Tahana Jala Vali Panjare Sri Chaitanya Padara Vinta Nilukar Ma Utrasit Sangama Utrachit Sangama. Vai Kuntari Padam Swayan Samilitam Nome Mano Vipsate Padam Boja Rajastrata Yari Mana Gurasya No Rasayate Rasyate Bodhananda Saraswati. The pure devotee who knows the paramount immaculate nectar of devotion for Sri Chaitanya Dev, distrust all else. The pure devotee who knows the paramount immaculate nectar of devotion for Sri Chaitanya Dev, distrust all else, even to the point of considering the culture of other spiritual relationships to be opposition. So let me remain within a cage of blazing fire, but never in the association of persons averse to the holy lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If I never get even the slightest taste of the nectar of a tiny particle of the pollen of the lotus feet of Chaitanya, Sri Gauranga, my heart has no aspiration for a position in the great spiritual planets headed by Vaikuntha, even if it is mine for the taking. Now for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, attachment to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so high, the highest thing possible. Mahaprabhu is love and separation. Represents love and separation. Vipralampa Bhav, it's called. It's actually the love of Srimati Radharani as for Krishna. It is represented by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his teachings. So it's explaining here, there's nothing higher than that. Why to look for other things? Even liberation, Vaikuntha or wherever. Worship anything else other than the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be a loss. It would be a terrible loss. One who has a good fortune, the unimaginably good fortune, to have come in contact with the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with the teachings of Mahaprabhu, with the mercy of Mahaprabhu. They are they are given access to the highest thing conceivable. There is nothing higher. Nothing higher in all the spiritual worlds combined than the love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the service of the Lord in the mood of separation. Evil. Text 25. Aikantika Bhaktasya Kshaya Vasista Dosha Darshanda Graho Varjaniyaha. This dies Abhava Janitire Vapushas Sadoshire La Prakritatvam Iha Bhakta Janasya Pasyat Nangamba Samna Kalupud Pura Vena Pankar Brahma Dravatyam Apagatsi Neda Dharma Rupa Goswami. The tendency to find the dying remnants of personal defects and an exclusive devotee must be abandoned. Here's coming up a Bengali verse. I should listen. Saraswati Thakur. Bhava Janitadra Babudo Shikrane Anadaranahi Hara Sura Bhaktavane Bakari Chaliya Doste Kabu Kangatare Chinmayatva Lapa Nahe Sarva Shastri Bale Aprakrita Bhakta Jana Papa Nahi Kare Avashista Papa Jaya Kinshadina Pare. For defects in his nature or defects in his body, one should never disrespect Lord Krishna's pure devotee. If mud, foam, and bubbles appear in Ganges water, it never loses divinity. So says the scripture. The devotee of divinity, he does never sin, and if a remnant does remain upon that too, it's gone. Soon that too is gone. And very high,
Beautiful
yeah,
verse.
very high conception. I remember Srila Maharaj would tell that he tries to see everything in the line of the pure devotional plane of Vrindavan. Whatever there is, he doesn't try to see it in any other way than his highest conception in Vrindavan, the land of love. He always is endeavoring, always keep that vision, that focus in his life. That everything is is meant with the play of the sweet absolute. Everything. Even the so-called defects, we think something is a defect in a pure devotee. That defect, so-called defect, is our own defect, our own ability to not see what is actually there. It is Maya's way of distracting us from that highest plane of loving devotion, of surrender to Krishna, of seeing Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. Everything is coming from him. Everything has its purpose in him. Everything is meant to please him. Janmadasyata, Krishna says in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything is coming from me. And then, what can there be wrong? To see wrong is our seeing that is wrong. Our inability to see that Krishna has his own purposes for everything, especially within the heart of a Vaishnava. So we try to judge a Vaishnava by his imperfections. That will be our own imperfection. That will be our own obstacle to pure devotion. I call it train inspectors, train inspector. If you come to the Holy Dham and you see all kinds of unwelcome things, unpleasant things, they say there's a train inspector. You come to the temple and you see some holes in the temple floor where the ants are coming. This is the drain inspector business. The beautiful altar with the deities, the joyful dancing and songs of the devotees, they are not important to such persons. They only want to see the ant holes. Man, what is that? Where you focus your attention is where your heart is. If your heart is in those things, then nobody can lead you to Krishna, to reality, the beautiful. If your heart is always hankering after Krishna, the beautiful, the loving, the sweet, you won't have any time for diversion. Neither will you have any desire for diverting your mind into all those other places. Atmavan Mandite Jagat. As you are, so you see the world. If your mind is filled with dirty things, you'll see the world is also full with all that dirty thing. A thief, if a person is a thief, he's always afraid that other people are going to steal from him. He'll see everyone as thieves. Because he has the mentality, he'll think everyone has it. A good man, good woman, they will have a kind of innocence in their lives, an innocent way of seeing things. We may think others will take advantage, but a devotee is not naive. He may be innocent, but he's not naive. He knows when someone is trying to lead them astray. At the same time, he always sees how this one can be, how there are some temporary defects which can be cleansed by following the proper process of devotional service. They have simply forgotten the real business in life. They're ignorant of the real purpose of their life, of the real thing they should be concentrating on, focusing on. Simply they have forgotten. So he has much compassion even for the fallen souls and hope for them and forgiveness for them. Huh? Jesus is a wonderful example of the mentality of a Vaishnava. They tortured him so much to the point of crucifying him on a cross with nails in his body. And what did he say? Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. What kind of humility, what kind of compassion, what kind of love does that show? Inconceivable. Inconceivable. Yet that was his genuine feeling. That was his genuine teaching. His life was simply the expression of his genuine heart's feeling. All that he did. That kind of love, that kind of faith, so powerful, it changed the whole world forever. All over the world, Christianity took root. Changed history forever. Very powerful influence. And not only in one place, but all. I think we'll stop here. You want to have say anything? Have any questions or comments?
Only Maharaj, only is class. Today class is perfect. Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Your heart is perfect, and the class is perfect.
No, no, my hair is dirty, Maharaj. But
I always come away with a lot
Yeah,
to think
happy.
about.
Good. Very nice, Glenda, that you're always listening very quietly, very respectfully, taking these things to heart. That's the most important thing.
Hmm.
My Dandavat Pranams to all.
Dandavat
Dandava
Maharaj.
Pranam, devotee, Dandava
Well,
Pranam, Maharaj.
please be safe. Please be always engaged in devotional service. My love to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, devotee. Love you.
Hare Krishna.